I just wanted to share my thoughts on the concept that we know as the dystopian future. I think most people watching this video will agree that we live in a control system and that there are people at the so-called top that have either misrepresented, withheld, or outright lied about our reality. The only way to be free from control is to be fully aware of how you are being controlled in every possible area of life, especially when the control or manipulation is not obvious or it is hidden. One part of this control that we overlook is the concept of the dystopian future. We in the truth community often cite books or movies such as They Live, The Matrix, Atlas Shrugged, 1984, Brave New World, and even modern Disney dystopian movies like The Hunger Games, Terminator, and Mad Max, and we do this in support of our viewpoint regarding the dangerous path of society toward total control. And as with many disinformation campaigns, or controlled opposition and gatekeepers, a lot of truth is disclosed in these books and movies. However, even though these books or movies seem like good tools and examples for the so-called truth movement to wake up the masses to the danger of authoritarian control, and again, they do help us to understand things to a certain extent, but when I really pondered the dystopian construct that we've been given, I realized that like everything else in this control system, dystopia has been used against us for control, maybe even more than it has served to spread awareness of this control. That being said, allow me to explain my position. And again, this is not to say that these movies don't contain good philosophies on freedom and the dangers of authoritarian control. This is just another way to look at the true purpose and effect that dystopian movies have on the population in general. Let's start by examining a similar reality that was constructed in a Hollywood studio, the pink unicorn land of space. Images and the false reality of space have been implanted in the minds of man since the 1800s. But when you wake up and open your eyes to the space deception, you escape the mind control. You free your mind and return it to its natural, curious state. This is what astounds me. Even cats are more curious than the average Joe. I mean, what happened to us? No one is curious about the world we live in anymore. And this is because we've been lulled to sleep in this regard. We've been told that we are insignificant and that NASA and the astrophysicists have it all figured out. There's nothing left to discover. Yet we know that nothing could be further from the truth. As with the construct of space, now consider the long list of dystopian movies and ask yourself, who made these movies? Oh yeah, Hollywood, aka the propaganda wing of the control system. The same government agency that brought us space. All governments are controlled. The media is 100% controlled. Hollywood is controlled. So if the purpose of these movies was truly to expose the system, they would never be made in the first place. It is all part of the show. As we are finding out, even history is controlled. We get these pop culture historical figures like Christopher Columbus, Copernicus, Einstein, and a bunch of other government-sanctioned historical figures. But again, everything in this constructed reality is controlled. So if the true purpose of these movies was to expose the system, they would never be made in the first place. So the next question is, if the dystopian future movies are not exposing the system, what is their agenda? The answer is, they are constructing a false picture of what total control would look like. Dystopian movies pop culturize the control state. They turn total control, the dystopian future, the authoritarian state, into a pop culture image in your mind. Think about The Hunger Games and Divergent, The Purge, Mad Max, and the Terminator franchises. They implant images of a fictional dystopia, a Disney dystopia, images of a fictional total control police state, so that when we look around us, we don't realize that what we see is the true dystopia. Look around. This is what total control looks like. Movies show us a Disney dystopia so that we don't recognize the real dystopia around us. The hidden purpose of these movies is to trick you into thinking that you are not currently living under such system. Sure, they talk about the erosion of freedoms and expose fictional police states, but what they are actually doing is sleight of hand, like what a magician does. Look at this over here and you miss the trick. The trick is on you, telling you on one hand that the movie images are what dystopia looks like, and then with the other hand they smack you into line to remain obedient to the debt slave system. The trick is the false image of the dystopian future where things could be so much worse. So out of fear, we keep voting for slave masters and keep fighting our brothers and sisters around the world over the black and white issues of religion, politics, race, so on and so forth, slowly destroying our humanity in the process. Those in the flat earth community understand the points in these movies, and the comparison to our world is obvious to many, but to the people who are asleep, these movies serve to reassure them that they are not in dystopia. These movies have the effect of lulling everyone back to sleep because they portray a false image of dystopia. I know dystopian gatekeeping works because if you try to explain this to the average person, they'll say you're crazy or conspiratorial or, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, you say? Dystopian gatekeeping programming accomplished. Move along, check Instagram and Twitter on your iPhone, buy more pharmaceuticals, and watch more TV. Nothing to see here. Well, try this. Just leave your house in the morning and count how many police cars you see. Look at the taxes on your paycheck. Look at your cell phone bill. Look at the IRS. Look at the thousands of laws and regulations in every area of your life. Look at the Federal Reserve and the banking system. Look at the legal industrial complex where things that used to be settled over a picket fence and a beer are now litigated in court. Look at the private prison industrial complex. Look at the medical industrial complex, the military industrial complex. We force children to fight wars for lying, cheating politicians and their imaginary enemies. Look at the government indoctrination centers known as schools. We actually allow our government masters to teach our young children. It's madness. People actually go into debt to pay universities to dumb down their kids even more and narrow their thinking to the accepted views of the establishment. These dystopian movies also constitute gatekeeping for liberty-minded individuals. In many cases, these movies provide the outlet for frustrated freedom lovers so that they don't wake up, look around, and understand the system itself. Again, dystopian gatekeeping programming accomplished. If we open our eyes to this fear tactic, we can escape the mind control of the fake dystopian future that they threaten us with. They use the threat of the pop culture image of dystopia if we stop following the mainstream, accepted evil lifestyles of Hollywood and Wall Street. I mean, forget that. Hopefully with this new truth movement, we can continue to discover things about our world free from the dogma of the elite science priests. Hopefully we can continue to find new ways to live and work together in peace instead of obeying the perpetual calls to war, to fight against brothers and sisters we don't even know. Hopefully we can learn to live and let live, to treat others with respect, honor, and significance. No man has all the answers. We are all on this planet together at the same point in time, learning about our world. When you wake up, you become curious about your life, your home, your creator, your fellow man. I hadn't really thought about it, but curiosity is something that we have lost. Those who are asleep are not curious about anything. They don't care about the shape of the Earth, the reality of space, the north or south poles, the lack of curvature, false flags, hoaxes, and the list goes on and on. No one is curious anymore because curiosity leads to a search for the truth. That is what we are all doing here, searching for truth, awakening our curiosity, and experiencing peaceful and energizing camaraderie. I mean, obviously the reason we make videos is to interact and share and exchange thoughts, feelings, experiences, and ideas with our fellow man.